What does a contraction feel like? How do I know if I'm in labor? And what does the day of labor look like? Wait, is this normal? Hey, I'm Heidi. My best friends call me Hides. I'm a certified birth doula, host of this podcast, and author of Birth Story, an interactive pregnancy guidebook. I have supported hundreds of women through their labor and deliveries, and I believe every one of them and you deserves a microphone and a stage. So here we are. Listen each week to get answers to these tough questions. Birth Story, where we talk about pregnancy, labor, deliveries, where we tell our stories and share our feelings. And of course, chat about our favorite baby products and motherhood. And because I'm passionate about birth outcomes, you will hear from some of the top experts in labor and delivery. Whether you are pregnant, trying desperately to get pregnant, or you just love a good birth story, I hope you will stick around and be part of this birth story family. You guys, my book is out. It is out in the world. I cannot believe it. I have been writing it for several years, and it's just mind-blowing. Birth Story, Pregnancy Guidebook and Journal is a one-of-a-kind discovery into your pregnancy that provides you education through storytelling. So what's it really about? In the 16 years that I have served women with every personality type, I noticed there was a huge disconnect between what my clients were craving for childbirth education in a book and the books that were actually available on the market. There seemed to be unlimited resources if you are looking for an unmedicated birth or a natural birth or a home birth. But there just weren't a lot of resources for my clients who were part of the 92% of women birthing in a hospital and very much open to medical interventions like an epidural, nitrous oxide, and opioid medications. So I wrote that book to fill the gap for you. Week by week throughout your pregnancy, you will engage with material meant to educate and empower you as you plan for your own birth story. Hospital, medicated, unmedicated, or something in between. You are welcomed each week with a postcard from the womb, which is an adorable note from your baby about their miraculous development, as well as the amazing changes occurring within you. Then you are invited to use an uplifting birth affirmation and to respond to an introspective journaling prompt to document your feelings, curiosities, and wonders every single week. With room to memorialize your own birth story, this book will become a memory keeper and a legacy gift for your baby. You are encouraged to read one of my favorite birth stories each week, filled with childbirth education, tidbits, and explanations of important medical terms and procedures. These are real-life accounts shared with permission from the births that I've attended during my career as a doula. And I gave you a great mix. In the 42-week guide to your pregnancy and 42 birth stories, 7 of them end in cesarean section. About half are unmedicated and the other half are medicated deliveries. This is a judgment-free book. So take what you need from each element and leave the rest. Okay, are you ready to buy? I would love for you to go to birthstory.com and buy it directly from me. But I totally get it if you're an Amazon girl. You can head to amazon.com and just type in Birth Story Pregnancy, and the book should pop up. I'll deliver it straight to your doorstep. And I would venture to say that you might be an audiobook kind of woman because you're listening to a podcast. So if you would prefer to listen to this book, then I have recorded it and it is available for download at audible.com or on your Audible app. Thank you for being part of the Birth Story community. I am so excited for you to have this book in your hand once you've purchased it and it has arrived. I hope that you will give me your thoughts and feedback, and don't forget to take a selfie with your book and post it on Instagram and tag at Birth Story Podcast. It's Heidi here. And I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. And so this week I have a really cool sponsor who's a local Charlotte newborn photography company called Nest Portrait. So Birth Story listeners can mention this podcast, Birth Story Podcast, to receive $50 off their newborn session booking if you're in the Charlotte area. So let me tell you a little bit about them. I know that you have so much to plan for before this baby's arrival. And Little Nest Portraits is here to help you feel comfortable and confident about that very first newborn photography session. And they want to make sure that you receive luxury experience like every new mom deserves. So from expert baby whispering newborn photographers, for anybody that's listening that's done this, you know what I'm talking about, to a studio space that's gorgeous, with all the comforts of home and 100% happiness guarantee at every session. Your precious memories of your new arrival can be trusted to this really talented team. So they have everything that you're looking for from start to finish. They have all the props. You don't have to go shopping. Custom-made birth announcements, art for your home, for like that favorite picture that you love. You name it, they can create it for you. And then they even offer the hospital Fresh 48 sessions. As a birth doula, those are some of my favorites to see because those are the moments that I get to be part of too in those Fresh 48s. So Birth Story listeners can mention this podcast, Birth Story Podcast, to receive $50 off their newborn session booking if you're in the Charlotte area, or you use the code BIRTHSTORY if you schedule online. So mamas, if you're in Charlotte, your belly is growing, cross it off the to-do list. Episode 19. Oh my goodness. This is one of those really cool episodes that is all about using platforms for purposes. And today I'm interviewing Jessamyn and Jessica from Best Upon Request, and they are a maternity concierge. And right now you're like, what is a maternity concierge? So just listen in. I want you guys to go ahead and introduce yourself. But first, I just wanted to say I had never heard of a maternity concierge before. And I got an email from my doula business, my doula Heidi, from Jessamyn. And it was like, hey, I'm a maternity concierge and I have a client who's in Charlotte, North Carolina, looking for a doula. And I was like, no way. Who is this person? I am not giving my information and pricing. So I picked up the phone and called Jessamyn and just found out all of the amazing things this company does. So Jessamyn and Jessica, if you could just introduce yourself and what it is that you guys do.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Jessica, and it's so nice to meet you over the phone. I have been with the Maternity Concierge program since it launched in January 2017, going strong, and I absolutely love what we do. I'll let Jessamyn introduce herself.
She's modest. She launched the program basically with Beth. But yeah, I came on with Jessica last summer in June, and it was actually the start of my third trimester as well. So it was kind of a beautiful dovetail of entering motherhood myself and then talking to all of the great moms in our program. And then I came back from maternity leave. Yeah, that's it.
I am just dying to kick this off and dig in on, okay, there are people listening right now that are just like me a month ago that are like, what is a maternity concierge? So can you just kind of, let's start with what is a maternity concierge? What do you do?
Well, so basically, you think of any type of concierge, our services are all over the board. But when you say specifically to a maternity concierge, we are there to be not only a benefit, but to help moms who are employed by, we work for Fifth Third Bank. We service them, but a maternity concierge could service anybody. But it's to not only help new and expecting parents prepare for having their baby. But specifically in the program we are in now, we service moms from the time we find out they're expecting all the way through maternity leave, so even while they're home, up until their child turns a year old. And so help them get prepared to have the baby, help them after they return to work and transitioning back, help them, as an emotional support, to be their advocate, and just, a shoulder to lean on, if you will. I would tell moms when we have our initial consultations to think of us as your personal baby planner / assistant, because also while we focus on maternity-related things, and baby and family-related things, it does not have to fall in that category. We're extremely broad. If somebody needs house services, maybe, the carpets cleaned, the house deep cleaned before a baby comes, we can research that as well.
It's pretty much a totally personalized service. So we start with a consultation where we give kind of an overview of our program and get to know a little bit about her and, what her history, if she has other kids, and kind of what she will be needing from the program. And then we do an interview, which is a much deeper dive on lots of the things, not only resources, but kind of research and information we can help with. And then it becomes personalized. So women, basically ask us for lots of different things, but some of the biggest things we help with are childcare research, of course, is a big one, ordering breast pumps for them through their insurance and making sure that they have a appropriate place at work to pump, and the list kind of goes on and on from there.
Yeah.
I'm just listening to you guys talk and I'm thinking, I have goosebumps. I'm thinking how many tears I wouldn't have shed and how much more attention I would have had for both of my job, my husband and my children, if I hadn't been worried about things like being on hold for an hour and a half with the insurance company trying to get a free breast pump. In the end, it wasn't even a strong enough breast pump. And then I had to start the process all over again to rent, a hospital grade pump. So I'm just listening to you guys talk and I'm just getting, because I'm a mom, I've got 2 kids, I'm just getting so excited. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background for everyone listening on my own story. So I was working for one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world when I delivered my first child, and I was an outside sales rep. And I literally, had the baby and there wasn't any support, not a single person from corporate, sent a present or, a card or, congratulations on having a baby. It was just when are you going to get back to work? And I was really concerned with how am I going to pump breast milk for my child in an outside sales job when I'm in a car and my manager, rides in the car with me and, just all of these things. And we got 6 weeks of, paid leave, but I really felt like it could have been more. So for 2 years, I went on a really this rampage, I would say. And I got probably 40 or 50 parents throughout the organization, both internally at headquarters and outside in the field. We did focus groups and we just assessed all of the needs of new parents. And wrote a proposal, sent it up to headquarters, presented it. It took maybe 2 years and voila, all of a sudden we got longer maternity leave. There was paternity leave, adoptive leave. They were sending gifts. I mean, they really listened to what women and men needed that were new parents coming back to work. And so I just want to tell this story because I feel like there are going to be some companies listening to this where your employees don't really need to be begging you to do this thing. These companies could hire best upon request, Maternity Concierge, or partner with you guys, right? To solve some of these problems for their employees. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes. Any company can hire us. It's kind of a tailored program to come in and service how needed. But that's exactly what you're saying is, our focus is employee retention especially where we are now is primarily for women just because, at the bank, over 60% of their employees are female, and many were leaving work because of having babies, which is not unusual. That's in a lot of companies. And so to really remedy that, they were just kind of looking at the numbers and what can we do to help families feel supported in having their babies. And actually, they've shown that women, we've so far serviced over 500 women in our program, and they've shown that they are almost 25% more likely to remain at the bank 6 months after returning to work, having that extra support, which is really, fantastic. So we love the work that we do, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I just love that that's what you're committed to, is employee retention and getting women that want to go back to work, get them excited about going back to work and supporting them, but also so that they have the ability to progress in their roles to more senior roles. Because one of the things that I know about, as an example, your bank, Fifth Third Bank that you work for, and many other companies, is that you'll have a large percentage of women working in the company, but a very low percentage of women that are in senior roles. And one of those contributing factors is dropping out of the workforce, in this critical period of development. So it sounds like this program is really committed to helping, moms get back to work, but also, to help them so that they could develop into more senior roles by staying in their career path.
That's exactly right. You summarized it perfectly. That's exactly what they were looking at. That's why, it's really how the program was formed. Was our CEO at Best Upon Request was teaming with one of the executives here at Fifth Third, and they kind of dreamed this program up together exactly for that reason, to help retain women and help them move up the ladder, and to show that, we support families. You can have a family and work, and we're going to try to do what we can, exactly as you said, to take that stuff off of your plate during that imperative time.
And it's kind of fantastic that right now so many more companies are acknowledging the importance of that work-life balance and, thinking about what benefit, what does that look like as far as benefits for their employees? And obviously this is a, major step towards that.
So I'm going to throw out a couple of things that, on my pregnancy and journey were kind of things. And I want to see if this is like a yes or no, like if you would help with these different things. Does that sound good?
Please. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things we talked about was, of course, the breast pump. You would help your employees or the bank's employees if they wanted to talk to the insurance company, get a breast pump. My next question would be, what if somebody wanted childbirth education classes? Do you guys do that research?
Oh, yes, certainly. And that is anything from, just your CEA classes that you can find at the hospital, to if they want something, a little bit more holistic or, alternative options. It can be
hypnobirthing, Bradley method, if you want something more specific. If you're looking at, prenatal yoga, if you're looking at
CPR, breastfeeding,
exactly.
Basically any educational options that they want, we research and provide options about.
Now, do you guys do anything on the back end? Or do you just do the research? So if you say, I found this Bradley class, and if you go to this Bradley class, you can get, a 20% discount or something like that. Do you have any partnerships with different, breast pumps, or I was going to say like a nursing bra company or a maternity clothes, or do you have any kind of like things where you partner for coupons or, different things for the families, or just the research?
No, absolutely. Our concierge company is always looking to get different discounts. And so we have some local, we have some nationwide. Specifically here in Cincinnati, where we're located, we have, I don't know how familiar you are, but we have what's called durable medical equipment suppliers. They're DMEs, which is where we work with them to order the breast pumps for the moms. And even locally, we have one specifically that we teamed with here that in the tri-state area in Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky, we can get a discount. If they choose to upgrade from the pump covered from insurance, we can get a discount on that upgrade charge. as well as we became a local distributor of a certain Medela pump, so we can get that to them without having to pay any shipping fees. We get that discounted, but that's just like one example among many. Locally, we have a lot of newborn and maternity photographers that we get discounts with, spas for prenatal massage, and those 3D, 4D ultrasound locations. We have a discount there. It just kind of depends. We're working on trying to get more discounts in our virtual locations, but it's a growing process.
For the doulas, I'm sure we would be willing to offer, a good discount for moms for some of the referrals too. As doulas, you just really want moms to have the best fit. So it's really important for moms to interview and have the choices of multiple doulas, just like multiple breast pumps, multiple newborn photographers, so that they can find the right fit for what it is they're looking for. And I wanted to just keep going on the list. And so what about, baby showers? What about registering for a baby? Do you help with those kinds of things?
Absolutely. We enjoy helping them with the planning. We love, we call that the creative side of what we do. And, we've done gender reveals, showers. We have, lists of venues and themes and all sorts of bakery discounts. Yeah. We actually have a party planning questionnaire so regardless of what the occasion is, again, going back to that we can service them, it doesn't have to be specifically related to them and that baby. So let's say, you're throwing a baby shower for a friend or a coworker or a party for your parents or what have you. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're in our program, you're the one we're servicing. We'll help you however we can. And so we have a fillable party planning questionnaire that we send, and just fill out whatever pertains. It includes everything from, do you want invitations? Do you want a venue? Do you want catering? Are you, if it's a baby, exactly. If it's baby's first birthday, do you want a smash cake? Do you want a high chair banner? Whatever it is, they fill that out and send it back to us, and then we start the planning.
Oh my, this sounds to me like on the outside, looking in, it just sounds like a virtual assistant too. So
exactly.
To make me more productive. I think this is the most incredible. I really think this is the most incredible program I have ever heard of. I wish every single company, I wish this was like mandatory. Like I can absolutely see how this would help you get back to work sooner, be more productive at work, be more present at home with your family for family bonding time. I mean, it's just everything that you're saying just keeps giving me, all the feels. And so I hope you guys are so proud of the work that you're doing. So really, it sounds to me like I could probably keep going on and on with my list, but I'm like, okay, so if I find out that I have to have a cesarean section, like would they call you and say, help me find some resources learning about cesareans, recovery from cesarean section, what that's going to do with putting me back to work, probably a couple weeks later. Do you help navigate all that?
Yep, that's exactly. We've done that many times. We send some information, and exactly that. We have some recovery tips that we found. Those abdominal exercises for ab separation after the C-section. I think. Yeah, pretty all of it.
Yeah. I was like all of it. I was like bladder surgery. I'm trying to think of all my clients and some of the things that happen in the postpartum period. So that's
basically.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just going to say, we encourage our clients to think of us as anything that they would spend time researching or that they need resources on, anything that's on their plate that they can move to us, no matter how specific and personalized the request, is exactly what we're here for. So.
Wow. Well, that brings me to postpartum depression specifically. Hey, it's Heidi. I'm interrupting the podcast to let you know about a free resource that I've created for you at birthstory.com. All you have to do is go to birthstory.com and then click the tab that says The Workbook. Once you put your email address in, an entire resource library of all of my secret sauces are available to you for free as my thank you for listening to the Birth Story podcast and being part of this community. At birthstory.com, under the workbook, you will find a birth plan template, articles on circumcision, delayed cord clamping, flipping a breech baby, packing your hospital bag, acupressure points, placenta encapsulation, and so much more. There are over 20 free articles ready for you to download at birthstory.com. Now let's get back to this amazing episode.
So when moms return back to work, we host a return to work interview with them just to check in, hear how everything went. Because of HIPAA reasons, we're not allowed to know when an employee comes back to work. So we kind of get based off of their due date, their estimated due date of when we think they'll be back. And so we reach out, we check in with them. And that is one of the questions we always cover is, how first of all, how did it go? And also, how are you doing emotionally? How are you doing physically? We ask if they feel like they have any symptoms of postpartum depression.
Or anxiety.
Exactly. And obviously we can't diagnose anything, but that's something that we, if nothing else, we want to talk through it because I'm sure you've seen this many times. It's so undercommunicated. So many people don't feel that they can talk about it. It's kind of isolating. And so we want to have those conversations and normalize it, that this is very common, and just kind of be that support for them and then kind of take it from there, see if there's any steps, any directions we can give them, maybe even if they want to see a therapist. We have people in the past ask for a list in the area. And then I would love to, what we're doing hopefully takes a lot of that stuff, again, off of their plate just to ease that extra stress.
Now, statistically, it's hard to quantify, but I would like to think that, just easing some of, the hecticness of early motherhood is some form of relief.
Mm-hmm. Now, you guys said that you started this program in 2017. Has it been in existence long enough? Do you have enough participants where you've been able to show this was our employee retention rate with women that went on maternity leave prior to this program, and then this is our employee retention rate after this program was implemented? Are you guys there yet with seeing statistically significant improvements in the data?
Yes, that's actually a recent poll that they did. The bank looked into the numbers because they wanted to know. And it is hard to quantify. It's kind of hard to get an exact, but they said it was that women who enrolled in our program were almost 25% more likely to stay after 6 months after returning after work compared to those who did not use the program. That was a recent number they did for a Good Morning America article.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a significant jump. Mm-hmm. I would think even if it was 7, 8, 10%, that would be, but 25%, I would say that's huge because that's 25% more women staying in their roles with the opportunity to then grow into more senior roles for more diversity within your company and with any of the companies that utilize the Best Upon Request services.
So any companies that are interested can go to the Best Upon Request website. There's a maternity concierge services link. They can click on there, and there's a place where you can schedule a call because they customize for their clients. So any business that's interested, they may want 4 concierges. They may want 1. Whatever that looks like, they can kind of, again, customize it.
We need to just pause right there and let's reiterate and shout from the rooftops right now. And because we're speaking for all women that are in the workforce working for a company, pick a company, no matter what it is. If you are listening to this podcast, you have an obligation to tell someone at your employer to go to Best Upon Request and to look into this maternity concierge program. If a company is committed to diversity, if they're committed to investing in both men and women returning to work and being productive in work, it is imperative that they either have a program like this organically, in their company, or they are partnering with a specialty company like Best Upon Request to do this for them. So I hope everyone is got their ears perked up and is listening. Like 25% more women are returning to the workforce and staying in the workforce because of programs like this. So you want diversity, you want women in senior roles, you want happier, more productive employees with better retention. So I will put links in the show notes to the website and all that kind of thing. But I wanted to ask Jessamyn and Jessica, who would be the point of contact for, say there's going to be some people from my big old pharmaceutical company listening that I used to work for. Who would they call?
They would do exactly that. They would go to the website, and there's a link in there, and that's where they'll schedule. It's bestuponrequest.com, and there is that maternity concierge, link to select, and then they would schedule. There's a section you can fill out for businesses to schedule an exploratory call.
Perfect. That's exactly the link that I will put into the show notes. I wanted to hear a specific story from you before we close out. So we've given all these examples of what it is that you do and what the benefits of it are. And I know that HIPAA is a thing. So, of course, no names or anything like that. But could you share a few examples of some of the women that you've worked with and what their feedback has been? Like just some specific things that you really believed that helped them get back to work?
One off the top of my head, I had a mother in Indiana who worked in retail, so she's in a smaller town. She ended up delivering, I want to say 3 to 4 months early. Her baby was premature, about 2 pounds, and so he was in the NICU for months. And just not only getting to help her with, the standard services of what we do, she really just became a friend. We were virtual with her, so everything we did was, by phone call or over the computer, but she would send us updated pictures. When we saw her little baby boy growing and just getting healthy, and she's back to work now. He is a chubby little boy who is so healthy and so happy. But getting to walk that journey with her.
Cheer her on.
Yeah, cheer her on and just be that shoulder to lean on, really. We were honored that she included us to be a part of that journey and would send us all these updated pictures, and it was emotional as well. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
And we had another mom who contacted us after she found out that she was going to be a grandmother kind of at the last minute, and that she was going to actually be adopting the child as her, daughter was unable to care for the baby herself. And it was kind of, help, I think I'm going to have this infant in, maybe a couple weeks, and it ended up being even faster than that. And so we were kind of trying to help her scramble to get together, sort of the basics and what does that look like. And even things, yesterday I talked to a mom who's in a retail setting here in Ohio, and I asked her what she was going to do if she was, planning to breastfeed, what she was going to do for pumping when she came back to work. And she said, I'll just drag a chair into the bathroom, and that's exactly, we said, no, you don't have to do that. They need to make a space for you.
Legally, they have to make a space.
Legally, and this is, kind of the route that you're going to take to make that happen. And, she just had kind of no idea. So all of those things and sort of, providing women with support and resources. I mean, really, we could go on and on, but every woman has such a different journey that we're taking with her, and
it's so personalized, sorry. And I was also going to say the fun thing now that we've just had our 2-year anniversary in January is we now have so many women who are repeats. We're now finally getting to see all the repeat customers. So we said earlier they graduate when their baby turns a year old. And again, this is specifically to the site that we're at here at the bank, but that does not mean that would be the case for any other business. But that's the deal we worked out here. And so they graduate when their baby turns a year old. And now all these women who have graduated and are now re-enrolling with baby 2, baby 3, and we get to really just continue that journey with them, and it's so much fun.
Oh my goodness. It's sort of, I'm hearing from you guys the excitement that I get with being a doula. It's the same thing, just having the honor to be part of the family's journey, to walk them all the way through the pregnancy and the labor, the delivery. And then you guys are connected for that whole first year of life, which is so exciting. I love when moms call me and they're like, I'm pregnant again. I have delivered up to 5 babies for many of my clients. I've been a doula for about 15 years now. And it's just, I hear in your voice the same thing that gets me really peppered up, is the relationship side of it. I've got a couple other questions though that we didn't address that I just wanted to speak about. So many of my clients and those that are listening have had fertility journeys or are on fertility journeys. And I know I'm using the word maternity concierge and would indicating that you're already, pregnant. But what if someone's working for Fifth Third Bank and they are trying desperately to get pregnant? Does this maternity concierge offer support or research for those on a fertility journey?
That's a conversation that's actually sort of happening right now, in fact, with how our program is going to in the future interact with women, because, right now we're really not able to share that journey with them because they're only reaching out to us later, when hopefully they're successful. So, it's what does it look like to have them reach out to us earlier, so we can provide that support as well.
As we're putting together information for future moms or for those also who are trying just to learn from those who have been through it, their recommendations, their stories. So it's a growing process, but we're trying to get into that chapter too.
Yeah. And I guess it would probably be similar for the adoption journeys also. So if someone was in the process of adopt at that point, I'm assuming they could get your services to help them prepare for their adopted child.
Absolutely, and basically as much or as little as they want. So if they reach out to us and say, hey, they're telling us, sometime this is going to happen for us, the kid, the child might be anywhere from 0 to 2. Yeah, they often have kind of this time range and an age range, and we just provide as much support as possible and whatever resources they need at that point.
Yeah, we've actually serviced a handful of adopting and fostering parents so far. And as, every story is different. It's one of those, we're still learning, what's the niche there? What can we do to help besides, getting the home prepared, but what information can we send you?
For travel planning.
Yes. We had one mom that was adopting down in Phoenix, and it was a very quick thing. And we researched hotels of where you could stay. What did they provide to bring a baby back there? Flight travel to get down there at a moment's notice. It's very tailored per person, but we're certainly going to do what we can to help.
And then I feel like I just want to give you guys a standing ovation for that also. So, so many of my clients and friends have gone down the fertility journey and then down the fostering and the adoption, and just honoring all the ways in which we become a mom and a dad is so important. And I'm just so proud that your company is doing this and is kind of paving the way. How much does this cost the employee?
Our services are 100% free for the moms that are in our program. The only time that they are ever charged is if we buy, if we purchase their birth announcements, then,
any purchasing we do on their behalf. We have in our enrollment form, they can have their credit card, and it's all PCI compliant and protected. But we do shopping all the time for customers in our program. So I would tell moms, if we're ordering something off of Amazon for your nursery, we purchase with our corporate cards. We reimburse with the card you have on file. Your card is never used publicly, but there's no hidden fees, no charges to use us for anything. It's a free benefit.
I hope, that this podcast, and you just got a ton of exposure on the Today Show. And did you say Good Morning America also? That people are paying attention to what you're doing and that it is supportive. I mean, it's everything that a new mom needs on this journey. And so I'm just so proud of what you guys are doing. And thank you for letting me interview you. I ask every mom that I interview what your favorite baby product is. And so, Jessamyn, I'll ask for you specifically because I know that you're a mom. And then Jessica, I want to know what your favorite baby product has been to recommend in this program. So I want each of you to answer that question on what your favorite baby product is and what your favorite baby product is to recommend to moms.
I'm definitely the minimalist mom. I tried not to get, tons of gear and lots of stuff, but definitely the things that we've been using absolutely the most have been our carriers. We love, I did the Moby when she was small and now the Lille Baby, and I really couldn't live without.
I have so many moms that tell me that their baby carriers are just, baby wearing is so important to so many moms.
Life-saving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whether you want to be out at the farmer's market or you want to make dinner, I don't know how I could do it without it.
Me either. So Jessica, what is one of your favorite baby products to recommend or to get in the hands of a mom?
One of the items that I love to tell moms about that most never seem to know about, at least when I talk to them, is for moms who, I'll just say the Baby Brezza. That's the Keurig for bottles. And so especially if we have moms that are choose not to breastfeed or are not able to, we always recommend that because, it measures your bottle for you. It warms it for you. And you think of all those late night feedings.
Time it saves over the course of
it's like a genius machine, and so we've heard wonderful things about it. But I love to let moms know about that.
Jessica and Jessamyn, thank you so much for being on the show. This is a birth story podcast, so this is the first episode that I've done that's really not about birthing and birth stories. But when I learned about what you are doing, it just lit a fire inside of me where I thought, wow, I really need to interview you guys. I want people to listen and pay attention to what you're doing. And I hope that Today Show and Good Morning America and everybody that's interviewed you guys, I just hope that it keeps helping that you grow so that we can support moms. Anyone wants to know more about Bust Upon Request and any of the favorite baby products, it will be linked in the show notes at birthstory.com. Thank you guys. Thank you for listening to Birth Story. My goal is you will walk away from each episode with a clear picture of how labor and delivery might go, and that you will feel empowered by the end of your pregnancy to speak up, plan, and prepare for the birth you want, no matter what that looks like.